Because there has been some confusion from residents about the assessment and levies in the town's financial plan this year, we're going to try and help break it down a little bit more for viewers. Property assessments are conducted every 2 years by assessment services, and most properties are assessed based on market value. 2025 is an assessment year. The assessment for Neepawa's total tax base went up by roughly 7% in 2025. This does not mean that each individual property went up by an average of 7%. A large portion of that increase in the total tax base is coming from new construction and new properties that have been added to the tax roll. What is also important to understand is that for the individual property owner, only a portion of the total property assessment is taxable. For residential properties, that is 45%. For farmland, it's 26%. And for commercial properties, it's 65%. There are a few additional property classes, such as railroads, but they do not play a large role in individual property assessments. The municipal mill rate is unchanged from 2024 at 22.86 mills. That means that for every $1,000 of portioned assessment, property owners will pay $22.86. Tax bills will also reflect school taxes for the Beautiful Plains School Division. The town of Neepawa will collect those taxes, but is not responsible for setting them. While there are many moving parts that make up the town's budget, which in 2025 is a little over $12 million, including a significant amount on water and sewer infrastructure, of particular note are allocations of $1.6 million for road improvements and $3 million for the Hamilton Street Extension East, meaning that about 38% of the total budget is being spent on road work. The bylaws to enact the tax levies for 2025 are expected to be passed at the next regular meeting of council.
Okay, welcome to the April 22nd public hearing, the 2025 financial plan. Be it resolved that we do now open the public hearing at 6 p.m. to present the financial plan for 2025, moved by Councillor Potter, seconded by Councillor Kostenchuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, Jamie.
Why didn't you get started?
It was on. It's just touchy.
When did the lights come?
This week.
Well, today. Last Thursday, that.
They kind of forgot. I was talking to Kyle. You're looking for a job. Obviously, it's a small job for them. You're going to do his office.
Good evening and welcome. The purpose of this presentation is to give you a general overview of Neepawa's 2025 financial plan. We aim to share insight into our financial goals, priorities, and the strategic initiatives we have in place to support our community's growth and well-being. After the presentation, we will open the floor for your questions and feedback. We value your input and are eager to engage in a constructive dialogue about our financial strategies moving forward. Let's begin. Tonight's agenda will start with an overview, talk about assessment, then revenue and expenses, then our utility budget, and then how it impacts the ratepayer. The town of Neepawa's vision is to be a community of choice, fostering growth, sustainability, and a high quality of life for all residents. Our mission is to promote a safe and caring environment, be accountable and transparent in our governance, and provide essential services as a community hub. We encourage and support residents and businesses to invest their time, energy, and values into the community. And by doing this, we can create a thriving and engaging society where everyone can succeed. And the financial plan is the tool that we use to achieve these goals. Successfully completed several projects aimed to enhancing our community. They include renovating the pool area to feature a zero-entry design, providing safe and gradual access to the water for all users. Acquired land for future development opportunities to support community growth. Installed a sundial at the cemetery, adding a meaningful touch to the space. purchased a small grader and a new VAT truck to improve municipal services and infrastructure, conducted various paving and patching projects throughout town to enhance road safety and accessibility. These improvements reflect our commitment to building a vibrant and well-maintained community. Assessment Services assesses all real and personal property in Manitoba at market value according to the Municipal Assessment Act. Assessments are conducted every 2 years to ensure tax fairness and equity based on current market conditions. Most properties are assessed based on market value, though some commercial properties may use different assessment methods. In Manitoba, property taxes are calculated using a basic formula involving 3 components: assessment, mill rate, and dollar levy requirements, or the tax levy. To determine the tax levy, the assessment is multiplied by the mill rate. Alternatively, the mill rate can be calculated by dividing the required dollar amount for services by the total assessment. This formula outlines how municipalities charge taxes. In Manitoba, only a portion of the total property assessment is taxable based on regulations that classify properties. Those classifications are 45% for residential, 26% for farmland, and 65% for commercial properties. For instance, in Neepawa, the taxable amount for a residential property is calculated by taking 45% of the assessed value of the home and multiplying it by the mill rate to determine the taxes payable. Neepawa's total assessment base is made up of 59% from residential properties, 32% from commercial properties, and 9% from exempt properties like churches, schools, and hospitals. For 2025, the total assessment applicable to the town of Neepawa equates to roughly $532 million. This reflects an increase from 24 by roughly 7%. Since taxes are only based on portion assessment, for Neepawa, 1 mill will raise about $249,000 in tax levy. Our municipal mill rate is unchanged from 2024 at 22.86 mils. The mill rate for the Beautiful Plains School Division has decreased by about 2% to 10.37. The educational support levy, which does not apply to residential taxpayers, has decreased by 12%. We have no control over these mill rates as they are set by the province of Manitoba and the local school board. The budgeted municipal revenues for Neepawa are projected to be just over $12 million. As you can see, the primary revenue source is from property taxes at 49%, 12% from unconditional government transfers, 20% from conditional government transfers, 8% from reserves, 4% from permits, licenses, and fines, 5% for user fees and sale of goods, and 3% from other income. For 2025, the town of Neepawa's projected budgeted expenditures is slightly over $12 million, thereby enabling the municipality to satisfy its obligation to maintain a balanced budget. We categorize the expenditures into typical municipal spending categories. 21% is fiscal services, which is your debentures and capital. 12% is transportation services, like your public works, engineering, equipment repairs. 27% is health and welfare, your cemeteries and social assistance. 9% is protective services, fire and police. General government services is also 9%, which is like your office and elected officials. 7% is reserve appropriation. Recreation and culture, which is your swimming pools and parks, along with environmental health, which is garbage and recycling, are both at 6%, and 3% for economic development. The Council's approach to grant funding emphasizes equity and transparency, guaranteeing a fair allocation among various organizations. By distributing over $143,000, they provide essential support for community services and encourage partnerships through service exchanges. This strategy enhances accessibility raises awareness of lesser-known organizations, and encourages broader community participation. Ultimately, the goal is to create opportunities for all residents to take advantage of local programs and services, thereby reinforcing the bonds within the community. Letters will be sent following the passing of the budget to each of the following recipients. This year in capital, we have some computers that need to be replaced, along with the toolcat and a truck. We are continuing with our cemetery enhancements and adding a mower to the fleet. A significant portion of our budget is being dedicated to road work, with $1.6 million earmarked for improvements on Mill, Adelaide, Commerce, Isabel, and Barker roads, along with $3 million for Hamilton Street Extension East. This year, about 38% of our total budget is being spent on road work. This reflects our strong commitment to investing in the infrastructure that supports our community's daily life and long-term goals. The Town Council is committed to making several contributions to various reserves to support future projects and initiatives. The planned contributions are $15,000 to general, $212,000 to building and land, $65,000 to the fire, $150,000 to public works and environment, $75,000 to recreation and culture, and $100,000 to the healthcare facility reserve. We've also budgeted for some transfers to come back in from reserves to the general operating fund to alleviate the financial burden on the taxpayers for 2025, allowing the municipality to maintain essential services and infrastructure while managing costs effectively. Projected revenues are approximately $6 million. This revenue structure reflects the municipality's efforts to generate funding from various avenues, including user fees, grants, and strategic use of reserves. By balancing these sources, the town aims to ensure the sustainability and reliability of its water services, while effectively managing the financial requirements of the utility operations for the upcoming year. 2025's utility operating budget's total projected expenditures are also approximately $6 million. This expenditure plan outlines the priorities of the utility operation, focusing on essential services such as water treatment and sewer collection, while also investing significantly in capital projects. The budget reflects a commitment to maintaining and improving infrastructure, ensuring the reliability of services, and managing financial obligations like debt repayment and reserve allocations. Through careful financial planning, the municipality aims to deliver quality utility services to its residents effectively. Purchases will amount to approximately $4 million. We have made significant progress on both the wastewater plant and the Northeast development projects, but still have some finishing to do. We have to replace the bulk water station as the old infrastructure was malfunctioning. And approximately $1.4 million has been allocated for development projects, specifically targeting utility infrastructure beneath the roads that are being fixed in the general operating budget. This strategic focus is intended to enhance the overall functionality and longevity of the improvements being made. Our utility water reserve is seeing a contribution of $100,000, with a withdrawal in 2025 to fund the installation of a new well and to complete ongoing projects. The utility sewer reserve is seeing a contribution of $20,000. In 2025, there will be significant changes to the school tax rebate and the educational property tax credits that homeowners and property owners should be aware of. They have eliminated the Manitoba school tax rebate, which previously offered 50% rebate on school taxes for residential and farm properties, along with 10% rebate for other types of properties. The farmland is the only one that is going to keep receiving the 50% rebate. The second is an introduction to the homeowner's affordability tax credit. The educational property tax, which used to be your $350, is being replaced by the new homeowner's affordability tax credit. This will offer a rebate of your gross school taxes to a maximum of $1,500. So how does that look for a residential property valued at $100,000? The reassessment year has caused a 7% increase in your property value. The elimination of the school tax rebate has taken away any benefit you had last year, but with the introduction of the homeowner's affordability tax credit, you will still be getting some sort of rebate. But the amount varies based on the amount of school tax you are being charged. And since there's no change in the municipal mill rate, the increase in property assessment is directly influenced by the assessment increase and will change your taxes from last year by $84.65 or 7.42%. A commercial property tax owner valued at $500,000 will see an increase of roughly 8.64% due to the assessment change and the elimination of the school tax rebate that you got last year.
Excellent presentation.
Okay, any questions, any discussion?
I'd just like to
Councillor Dart?
I'd just like to make comment. So in the final example there where we saw just as a flat tax increase, that will not be the case of every resident. Assessment is based on individual properties, and it's not just a flat 7% across all homes. That 7% actually reflected as an overall revenue increase within our community. In some cases, when we looked at individual tax rolls, with the way the new rebate is working, we will see some residents within the community see their property taxes go down in some cases. So, in the case of someone, if they've made a recent investment in their home and an increased assessment, there would be a tax increase accordingly. But the 7% increase in assessment is a kind of a blanket value that does not reflect individual cases. So again, it's a good idea when you're looking at the tax implications for your home. It's something for you to look at individual assessment of your property there, and then how the new school tax credit applies to the home. Because roughly about 30 to 35% of your tax bill is actually school tax. So just so you can see what the net impact is to the community and that. I also wanted to comment too, as a council, we heard time and time again that our residents were looking to see significant investments in roads, and that now the 38% of our budget, that number is extreme in that we're installing new roads within the community, but also does represent a significant change in how we're funneling dollars within our budget to try to start the process of addressing how some of our infrastructure has decayed the last few years. It's in some ways it feels like you're pushing a rope some days trying to get things caught up, but it does show a comment from the community, from the Chamber of Commerce, and it's something that the council has listened to. And I know when you hear these numbers on road repair, it doesn't mean a lot if that road doesn't run in front of your house or your business, but it does show a commitment of council that we do want to start working on this. And I know we're going to continue to look at that as we go forward.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Dart. I think another thing too is that there was a lot of discussion around an automatic pothole machine for the community. We did put that into the budget at the start. When you're looking at a machine of around $500,000 for a new machine, that was just going to create too much of a tax burden on everyone. We ended up having to pull that back. Instead, we have increased the amount of rent. Correct me if I'm wrong, Denis, but I think it's 3 months we're looking at renting, 10 or 12 weeks anyways for renting the machine in the community, which is the most that we've had before. And although it isn't the answer that we're looking for right now, we still have to be careful. We can't crank the taxes up too fast. There's just, there's a number of people in the community that aren't able to handle it. So, we are looking, if there was a potential for a good used machine, certainly we would take a look at that. But as it sits, Councillor Gerard is right. We have put a significant amount of money into roads, streets and sidewalks here. All right. Yes, Ray.
Just staying on top of roads for a moment. Of the percentage that's being spent on road repairs, not on the new build, how granular can you get with what areas are going to be prioritized and worked on?
Denise?
Currently, we'll repair all utility cuts, and then the pothole patcher will go around and tackle any areas that need surface works done to them. Then the majority of the other funds will be set towards full rehabilitation. So, like I said, 2nd Avenue between the blocks of Mill and Hamilton will be completely renewed. Adelaide Street from Lilly to Walker, full renewal there as well. So those 2 sections are quite substantial in what their cost and the efforts that be put into them. The extension of Hamilton Street from Broadway Avenue up to the quarter section line beside the hospital is in the budget right now, and tender documents I just received the draft version today, so we'll be reviewing those and hopefully get those out to tender shortly. Likewise, the hospital paving, or not the hospital, sorry, the fire hall, we broke that into 2 different paving projects to ensure that staff could still come and go. So we'll do a 2-year paving project on that site to ensure that everything gets done properly there.
Follow-up question, how optimistic are you that these types of projects will be done this year? Considering there have been previous years where the companies that we tender out to unfortunately do not prioritize Neepawa on their schedules.
It's the same battle with every small community. They're all facing the same hurdles of trying to retain and lure in their contractors to come in and expedite the work. But seeing as that we have quite a substantial pile of work, it's more enticing for larger contractors to come in. So I think that we will get some prioritized treatment, possibly.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Jody, you must have a comment.
Great work, you guys. Help you guys.
Okay, if there's no other comments, then be it resolved that we do now adjourn this public hearing at 6:20 p.m. Moved by Councillor Nadeau, seconded by Councillor Kostenchuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. So we just reviewed the 2025 financial plan. Was there any additional questions there? Seeing none, be it resolved that we hereby adopt the 2025 financial plan. Moved by Councillor Pottinger, seconded by Councillor Kostenchuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
So bylaw 3234-25, the levy of taxes for 2025. You all have that in front of you. This is just the bylaw that compiles all the information that in support of the financial plan you previously had a public hearing for and approved. So this will be first reading to allow us to proceed into the process to levy taxes.
Okay, any questions? If not, be it resolved that bylaw number 3234-25 being a bylaw of the town of Neepawa to levy taxes for the year 2025, to provide for a tax due date and to provide for late payment penalties now be read for the first time. Moved by Councillor Kostenchuk, seconded by Councillor Nadeau. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.